Yo, what is up, YouTube? I am Gouda874 here, bringing you our Week 2 battle of the ABC. This week we take on Blue Phoenix, coach of the New Jersey Blue Phoenixes, hashtag best state. We are going into this game with an 0-1 record, while he is going into this game with a 1-0 record. Now that tells you that we did unfortunately lose our Week 1 battle to Gravy. It was a close battle, but we just ended up losing in the end, while Blue Phoenix did manage to win his Week 1 game. So we are going to try and make up for that and become the same record as Blue Phoenix and 1-1 this week. But before I get into the team builder, I don't really have else much to say, but go check out the coaches in the description below. They're all amazing. I watched Blue Phoenix's draft analysis as well as most of his Week 1 battle, and his audio is just insanely good. I don't know why that was something I noticed, but watching his videos is just relaxing. It's enjoyable. Highly recommend go check out my opponent this week. He will be uploading, I'm assuming he'll be uploading his side of the battle as well. It's really good, I promise you guys. But without further ado, we're going to get into the team. I want to mention that my matchup this week is good and bad in some sort of ways. I do have a Mon that does really good against his team, as I will get to a few seconds. But for the rest, except for that Mon, it's kind of a rough matchup. But again, that Mon kind of makes up for it. But without further ado, I'm going to go get into his team. His team this week consists of Kieran Black, Tapu Fini, Tyranitar, Mega Aerodactyl, Reuniclus, Mienshao, Escavalier, Moltres, Sandslash, Sceptile, Regigigas, and Plusle. And I think his Z crystals are the Icium Z and the Buginium Z, drafting the Icium Z and getting the Buginium Z randomly. Icium Z makes sense for Kieran Black, and he could use Z Haze for Tapu Fini, so that's pretty cool. And the Buginium Z he could utilize with the Escavalier, so he definitely has options for that. His most threatening members on the team is definitely Kieran Black, Mega Arrow, and Reuniclus. Actually, let me list what I think he's going to bring. I think he's going to bring Kieran Black, Tapu Fini, Mega Aerodactyl, Reuniclus, Escavalier, and Moltres. That's what I think he's going to bring. He could bring Tyranitar and he could bring Sandslash, because if he doesn't bring Sandslash, then my Rotom, spoilers, I'm going to be bringing Rotom, can Volt Switch around his team pretty freely. But Sandslash isn't really a good answer to Rotom. Actually, it's a terrible answer, so that's why I don't think Sandslash probably comes. It could, but I don't think so. But that is what I expect him to bring. To reiterate, again, Kyurem is a really big threat. Switching into it just doesn't exist. Mega Arrow, having speed control, it just sucks that he has it, so that's something I have to deal with. And then Reuniclus is just always scary, regardless of what team I'm going up against. Reuniclus is just a really good Mon. I love that Mon. But the Mon I was saying was really scary against his team is Cobalion. That, except for Reuniclus, his switch into Cobalion almost doesn't exist. Tapu Fini can switch in a few times, but Tapu Fini gets wear down in battles pretty easily. And once that thing's worn down, then Cobalion can beat that as well. Cobalion just looks really, really solid in this matchup, and I'm going to try and utilize that to my advantage, as well as Rotom, as Volt switching around his team is going to be pretty free without Sandslash around. But, yep, that is just a really quick breakdown of his team. The team I am bringing this week consists of Rotom, Cobalion, Spiritomb, Dhelmise, Mega Charizard X, and Mudsdale. So as I just mentioned, the first one I'm bringing this week is Rotom Wash. Rotom Wash is rocking the Choice Scarf with the moves Volt Switch, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, and Defog, max special attack, 236 speed with its Timid nature, and then the rest in bulk. This originally was actually a defensive set, but I decided to go to Choice Scarf route because Mega Arrow was looking a little bit scary after I originally was done making the team. So this outspeeds any type of Mega Aerodactyl, and it'll just do a load of damage to it. And it's just good, again, because Volt Switch spam is really free against his team. And if Sandslash comes, then I could just click Hydro Pump, because his Hydro Pump switches aren't fantastic either. He would have to make a few predictions constantly for Rotom Wash. Trick's cool, but I think Defog's better because defogging rocks is pretty big because Mega Charizard X is coming, so, I mean, I don't want rocks on the field whatsoever. And Mega Charizard X is a little more important defensively this week, but I'll get into that a little more later on. But Rotom Wash is just good to Volt Switch spam against his team. Hydro Pump's really good as well. I did actually take off Thunderbolt and put Hidden Power Steel last second. I forgot to mention that. I forgot to put it in my team builder too. So on the slide, you're going to see Thunderbolt. But I actually did bring Hidden Power Steel in the end because I did want a way to at least hit Kieran Black for some sort of damage. It does a little under half, so that's just to keep in mind that I did end up bringing Hidden Power Steel. But yep, that is the Rotom set. So yeah. Next up we have Cobalion. Cobalion is rocking the Steelium Z, max attack, 232 speed with a Jolly nature, 24 in HP. Moves being Swords Dance, Volt Switch, Iron Head, Close Combat. Volt Switch if I want to use Cobalion early game, though I want to save it for late game because it's going to be a really good cleaner. I could have ran a bunch of sets on Cobalion, but this is just the one I ended up sticking with in the end. If Reenactors is down, then I could just set up an SD on a lot of things. Like Tapu Fini, I can set up a Swords Dance on. I can set up a Swords Dance on Mega Arrow. Well, I can't really, unless that's risky because he could have Earthquake. I could set up on Mian Shao if it's scarfed into something. Scavalier, I could set up on a lot of things. And then Close Combat Ironhead is just really good against his team. Moltres is a switch in. I forgot to mention that as well, but Rotom Wash just kind of hardwalls that for days, so that's not really too concerning. And just Cobalion is just amazing in this matchup. Fighting plus Steel stab coverage is just insane against this team, and I think it's going to work out really well. That is going to be the Cobalion, the most important model on the team. Next up, we have Spiritomb. Spiritomb is rocking the Aguave Berry with Max Spadef and a Calm Nature, 224 defense, 8 in speed, and 24 in HP. Moves being Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, Shadow Ball, and Pain Split. I originally had Infestation over Shadow Ball, but then I realized and forgot that Magic Guard is not affected by Infestation trapping, so I decided to go the Shadow Ball route in the end. This is solely here for Reuniclus and Mian Shao, but more importantly, the Reuniclus. This hard walls, or this not hard walls, but it shuts down the Reuniclus to make sure it doesn't become a problem. I would assume if he wants to bring like a Calm Mindset, which would be the best set against me, he would be Magic Guard. So if I just lowered it enough, it's not going to be a problem because Reuniclus has trouble recovering on things because it's just slow. And that 8 speed is to make sure that Reuniclus doesn't like speed create the Spiritomb. I can Pain Split, I could Will-O-Wisp anything that switches in, and then Taunt to make sure he doesn't Calm Mind boost too much. So that is Spiritomb. That's what mainly here just for Reuniclus. And it is a good switch in Mian Shao because Mian Shao is not going to be doing too much to this thing, and I can Pain Split anything if it wants to get a decent chunk of damage on me. So that is what the Spiritomb is mainly here for. Oh, and I also, the HP is low because of Pain Split. I want to get more HP back. If I have less HP, then the more I'll get back. So that's Spiritomb. I just said so a lot. I apologize. Next up, we have Dhelmise. Dhelmise is rocking the Max HP, Max Def with an Adamant Nature, holding the Colbur Berry, moves being Power Whip, Anchor Shot, Shadow Claw, and Synthesis. Yes, it looks pretty offensive. I was thinking about running an offensive set, but I really wanted like more of a switch-in type of set because I needed to switch into Tapu Fini because that didn't really exist at this point. And Dhelmise is a great switch into Tapu Fini. Yes, it could Nature's Madness me into Moonblast, but I'll live it. Power Whip is almost a guaranteed OHKO. I don't think it's quite, but it does a lot of damage to it. And since Tapu Fini doesn't get reliable recovery unless it holds the ICM Z, then we're looking pretty good. It's a good switch into Sceptile and another one into Mian Shao because I do have the Colbur Berry. It stops Mian Shao from just clicking HJK. I have 2 Ghost types, so Mian Shao is just not really looking good at all this week. And it gives me another switch into Plusle, Sandslash. A lot of his lower tier mons don't like Dhelmise too much, and for the off chance he wants to bring those, hey, that Dhelmise is there for them. But that is mainly what Dhelmise is here for, quick Dhelmise coverage. Next up, we have Mega Charizard X. Mega Charizard X is rocking the Charizard X, obviously. 216 speed with a Jelly Nature, 192 in attack, 96 HP, and 4 in defense. Moves being a Flare Blitz, Dragon Claw, Thunder Punch, Brick Break. I originally had Dragon Dance on the set, but I realized that since Cobalion and Rotom are so good offensively in the end, Charizard X is not as important in this game, so I don't really need a Dragon Dancing set. I could just use this as a breaking set and have Cobalion and Rotom combine and clean up his team. So I decided just to throw 4 moves on there. Brick Break, OHKOs, Tyranitar, unless it's holding the Chople Berry, which could be a thing. I don't think it's going to, but it could be a thing if it even comes. Thunder Punch is for the Tapu Fini because Tapu Fini is not doing a crazy ton back to me. Flare Blitz and Dragon Claw are just really good against this team. One thing that's really scary about this is that if Kyurem Black is Scarf, that I'm going to be in a little bit of a problem because this is my main way to deal with Kyurem Black offensively. That and Cobalion, of course, but again, a Scarf Kyurem Black would be very scary for this set. And yeah, Charizard also is my main switch into a Scavalier, so when I said earlier that Charizard's a little important defensively, it's my only Scavalier's reliable switch in because the Scavalier's not going to be doing much to me, and I can just click Flare Blitz. But that is the Charizard set. It's here just to break early game and switch into a Scavalier if it decides to come. And then lastly, we have Mudsdale. Mudsdale is rocking Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Rock Tomb, and Toxic with the leftovers, max HP, max defense. It's another switch into Scavalier, even though Charizard sort of already does that, but for the off chance it's already down. It switches into Tyranitar fine, and it switches into Mega Arrow because at this point I didn't really have a Mega Arrow switch in either. Dhelmise could be one, but if he clicks Aerial Ace as I switch in, then I'm just screwed. So yeah. Again, that Mega Arrow is just really scary to switch into. Even Aqua Tail does so much to Mudsdale. And unfortunately, Mudsdale does not get reliable recovery. It does get stamina though, which lets me take 2 Aqua Tails guaranteed. So that's really cool. And I don't think he's going to stay in. I can get Rocks up, cripple that Kyurem Black. Hopefully it doesn't come in as much as I need it to. And force Tapu Fini to defog. And then Toxic is just Toxic for that. For the Mega Arrow. Well, actually, Rock Tomb's also there for Mega Arrow, so something like Mega Charizard could outspeed it, or Cobalion actually, if it's -1. So that's what Mudsdale's here for. That is it, and that is the team. I said so a lot in the team builder, I apologize, but that is all I got. I hope Cobalion puts in the work, and we're going to go over the Pokemon Showdown and watch the battle. Alright, we are here in Pokemon Showdown, and I'm noticing that he did not bring the Mega Aerodactyl or the Moltres, but he did bring the Mienshao and the Tyranitar. That is fine. The goal here is to get rid of Reuniclus and find out which one is Scarf, whether it be Mienshao or Kyurem, or both. But I'm going to lead off the Ronomash because it is a free Volt Switch, as he did not bring the Sandslash, as he leads off with Tyranitar. That is fine. I am going to Volt Switch out of here, as he does bring in the Kyurem Black. In turn 2, we're going to find out if this thing is Scarf, because Scarf Kyurem is very scary against my team. I can either deal with this by Charizard or Cobalion, but I decided to go into Charizard because if he is Scarf, I'd rather have Charizard go down as compared to Cobalion, because Cobalion is the win con. Fortunately for us here, you're going to see that he does end up not being Scarf and just straight up dies to the Dragon Claw. So turn 2, we got the biggest offensive threat on his team out of the way. That is really good news, as he's going to go into Tyranitar here. Now here I'm just going to click Brick Break because unless he's Shovel Berry, as he is, I can knock it out. But luckily for us, he does click Earthquake instead of Stone Edge, so we are going to live for another turn. Unfortunately, we cannot really no longer switch into a Scavalier, as I'm going to knock out this thing with Brick Break. But it's okay because Mudsdale can still switch into it, and if I can chip down a Scavalier enough, Cobalion can beat that thing as well. As he's going to send in Mienshao here. It does sort of suck because I cannot tell if this thing is Scarf or what item this thing's going to be, as I just dropped to the Poison Jab. I could have switched into Delmise, but I still need Delmise for a few other mons on his team, as I'm going to send it in now so I can get a free switch in. As he's just going to hard switch out into a Scavalier, as I'm just going to click Shadow Claw. If he has like Regenerator, then he definitely could have stayed in there, so I'm assuming he's choiced into something. He could be banded because he still outspeeds a lot of my team. As this Scavalier is not banded when he goes for knockoff. Knocks off my leftovers on Mudsdale, but that is fine. Mudsdale is really only here for a Scavalier at this point, and sort of Mienshao. It's still okay, as I can just get up rocks to force the Tapu Fini to defog, and if this Reuniclus wants to come in later, I can figure out if it's Magic Guard or Regenerator. I'm pretty sure it's going to be Magic Guard as I switch into Spiritomb and do all this stuff. I'm going to taunt it to make sure it can't get too boosted, as this thing cannot really do too much to me. As I'm going to just fire off Shadow Ball here a bit. We're going to go back and forth a little bit here because I can like Pain Split my way up or taunt this thing down. Just keep this thing low enough to the point where it's not really a threat. As I'm going to Pain Split this turn, get a lot of HP back because Reuniclus has a lot of HP. As he's going to keep clicking Shadow Ball on this thing. He does get a Spit Death Drop, which is sort of unfortunate because I do have the Aguav Berry, and I cannot, like, it's going to be hard to pop that thing knowing I get Spit Death Drop, as now his Shadow Balls are going to be doing like 50%. So that taunt there could have like been risky if he had clicked Shadow Ball. But here I'm just going to click Pain Split to get a little bit of health back so I can guarantee live another Shadow Ball. As you're going to see here, it does 50%. So it was definitely a good play here. Now at this point, I'm just going to click Shadow Ball and keep this thing as low as I possibly can. As I got it down to 19%, and this Reuniclus is going to knock me out with Shadow Ball. As Spiritomb goes down, and the taunt is going to wait fade. If this is a Regenerator Reuniclus, it is going to be a little bit of a problem, but knowing this calm mindset, I think it's Magic Guard. So I'm going to go into Delmise. Luckily, he stays in, and I do outspeed, and I knock that with Shadow Claw. So that's really big. Reuniclus is gone, and at this point, he comes with that Scavalier. Delmise beats his other two mons, so I need to save it, and I'm going to go into Mudsdale. Mudsdale, again, is mainly here for this Scavalier. As he just does fire off a Toxic, that's fine. I can just spam Earthquake now until I die because a Scavalier cannot switch into a Cobalion's close combat, especially since I just hit it with an Earthquake. As he's just going to try and whittle down my Mudsdale. This is a fine trade. I'm willing to make this. Knowing this Scavalier is not going to switch out, I'm just going to stay in and click Earthquake and knock it out. So Mudsdale is really low, but we're up 4-2 right now, and all he's got is Fini and Mienshao. As here comes the Fini. Mienshao's not really a problem whatsoever, and this Fini is not really going to be too much of a problem with my Rotom in the back, as he's just going to knock me out with Moonblast. It's quite fine with me. Mudsdale's going to go down. It did its job. And here, I'm going to bring in Cobalion and click Volt Switch to see if he's like Wakan or Scarf. He is not Scarf for whatever reason. It could be like Trick Scarf. As I go into Rotom Wash, the tank, whatever hit he throws up Moonblast, and that is Specs. That is Specs damage. And as I mentioned in my team builder, I ended up dropping Thunderbolt last second. So he got some attack drop too, so it wouldn't have mattered. I calced to make sure I could live this, and I guaranteed live this Moonblast, as you'll see here I do. And I can get a attack drop. It doesn't really matter. I'm going to fire off my Z because Iron Head is not a guaranteed knockout, and I just want the knockout on this thing. If Mienshao wants to come in, it just dies, so that would be pretty cool. And basically this is GG because Mienshao cannot lock into any one move and knock out all three of my mons, as he just clicks Poison Jab, and at this point it's just completely over. as it is going to be Scarf Mian Chao, as sort of what you would predict if it wasn't Scarf Kirim, or Scarf Feeny if it was like Trick Feeny. I wasn't really expecting a Scarf Feeny, but Specs did throw me off guard. But we are going to win this 3-0 by clicking Iron Hit on this Mian Chao, and we win. So GG to Blue Phoenix. I definitely do believe that the keys to success this game was that Mega Charizard X broke really early. That really helped me out. And making sure that Reuniclus did not get set up and get out of hand with Spiritomb. And that allowed Cobalion to do really good in the end game, as well as Delmise. So those were the great keys to the game. Again, GG to Blue Phoenix. Make sure to go check out his channel in the description below. You will not regret it. His content is quality. But we are going to move up to a 1-1 record. Next week we take on the PEBA god himself, Stronfel. And over here at the ABC, we are idiots, and we decided to let him have Mega Mawile and Garchomp. And Garchomp and Stronfel means GG, but we're going to get into that more next week. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like. If you like Pokemon Draft League content, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm going to head out of here. Have a fantastic day, YouTube.